families, creating a lifetime of memories. Sadly, some families are denied these important moments due to the sad practice of alienation. These are families divided.
Thank you for joining us for this week's segment of Families Divided. In our first part of this segment, retired Israeli judge Philip Marcus will be speaking to us on protecting the child-parent relationship after separation. And then Dr. Colleen Murray speaks to us on preserving the integrity of the alienated parent. We'll begin these segments right after these messages.
At Victor's Crown, our focus is on you, our clients. When you arrive, our goal is that you will feel at home, from our welcoming atmosphere to our serene surroundings. Everything we do at Victor's Crown is done with our clients in mind. We have comfortable seating areas for both adults and children. A large screen TV with surround sound where clients can be occupied with wholesome entertainment while they wait. We offer complimentary refreshments such as coffee, tea, water, and snacks. Due to the present COVID pandemic, our in-person appointments are restricted to selected cases, and those are held in our luxurious outdoor open-air meeting space that we affectionately refer to as the COVID Cabana, which was built specifically for our clients to offer them the most comfortable and relaxing outdoor space available. All our other clients are offered secured web-based telemed sessions where they can connect with us from anywhere in the world.
In families dealing with alienation, communication during conflict is often very difficult. This fall, Family Access, Fighting for Children's Rights, will present a special in-person conference to address that very issue. Using and Refining Interpersonal Skills will be held September 9th through the 11th at the Marriott Research Triangle Park in Durham, North Carolina. You'll learn from experts how to master skills that can reduce anxiety, anger, and stress in alienation situations. Join Event Director Elaine Cobb, the founder and president of Family Access Fighting for Children's Rights, and conference moderator Dr. Colleen Murray as they present a lineup of highly respected experts, including keynote speaker Dr. Jeffrey Gardier, plus presentations by Bill Eddy, Megan Hunter, Dr. Joshua Coleman, Dr. Mark Mosk, Dr. Mary Alvarez, Dr. Sue Kornbluth, Shazia Sparkman, and Lisa Rothfuss. Mark your calendar now, September 9th through the 11th, for Using and Refining Interpersonal Skills, hosted by Family Access Fighting for Children's Rights, Steel Partners Foundation, and PAISCA, Parental Alienation is Child Abuse. Visit familyaccess.info for more details on the conference and secure your attendance. Seating is limited.
Have you missed an episode of Families Divided? Please check out our YouTube channel. Not only will you find all the past episodes, but you'll also find additional content, including clips from our online webinars from experts in the field of parental alienation. Go to the link below, or you can find a link at familyaccess.info.
My name's Philip Marcus. I was a judge in the family court in Jerusalem, Israel for 17 years. And since I retired 10 years ago, I've been researching, writing, and lecturing around the world about issues to do with family law, family courts, and more recently about situations in which contact between a child and members of his family is lost. I want to make it clear that there may be several reasons why a child may not be in contact with a parent and members of the family. The extreme end is parental alienation. And I want to give all credit to Elaine and her team for the amazing work that she's doing including setting up this series of television programs devoted to the issue of parental alienation. The title of this talk is Protecting Child-Parent Contact After Separation. And I want to make it clear that the contact between a child and a parent is of extreme importance for the child's development, the child's psychological and emotional development, and also for physical development. So that, in my view, it's only in very extreme cases of abuse or neglect, such that it cannot be said that there is any situation in which contact between the child and that parent will serve the interests of the child in the short or the long term. It's only in those situations when it's justified that there should be no contact between a child and a parent. And even in those situations, the child needs help in order to deal with a situation in which he is cut off from a parent, even if, as I say, the ending of contact is justified. There are, however, many reasons why contact may fail. We all know about adolescent rebellion. It's part of the developmental tasks of an adolescent to do what's called separation and individuation. And for a short time, it may be that that will lead to a child cutting off contact with a parent. But that should be over and done with within a very short time. There are also situations, as I've said, in which the parent, in fact, initiates the lack of contact. The parent may simply not like the child, or may not look after the child, may not be interested in having any contact with the child. That's not parental alienation, that's something else. But I also want to say a word or two about the name parental alienation. It is clear, I think, to most listeners that there are some organizations and some people who say that parental alienation doesn't exist, or that parental alienation was invented by violent parents in order to counter charges of abuse and violence. That may be the case, it may not be the case, but it's important to focus on what happens to the child in a case where, with no justification relating to the welfare of the child, one parent acts in such a way as to cut off contact between the child and the other parent and that other parent's family. That is abuse. It is psychological child abuse by a parent. And one of my themes is that the authorities who deal with child abuse and neglect ought to be recognizing a situation in which a parent unjustifiably cuts off contact between a child and a previously loved parent as abuse and neglect. Those are just some general points. But I want to move now on to how we protect child-parent contact after separation. This is in several stages. The very first stage is relationship education for youngsters in high schools and in youth movements, and even sports coaches can help with this. What this means is that a youngster should be introduced in his teens to what the things that are necessary for a loving and lasting relationship. Among others, this means that with the chosen partner, there should be good communication skills. They should be able to discuss things in a verbal manner. It also means that they should have similar views about how to resolve conflict, because in any relationship, and particularly if you're living as a couple with somebody else, there are going to be frictions and tensions, and there need to be a common idea as to the importance of resolving problems in a friendly manner, and also so as not to allow these frictions and tensions to escalate. What this means is that youngsters should be looking out when they are dating, when they're going out with a potential partner. They should be aware of the problems that might arise, and they should be looking for common communication skills. They should be looking at common skills in resolving disputes. Also, of course, about common ideals and what they want to see as a family if they are going to make their relationship permanent. And they also need to be taught about the signs of improper relationships, that is to say, controlling behavior and abusive behavior, so that while they're dating, they should be looking out for these things, and they should be able to set up a relationship which has the best chances of lasting, because they have been educated as to what to look for in a potential partner. As I said, high schools can help with this, church groups can help with this, even sports coaches can help with this, provided they're all on the same page. And of course, the youth movements and scouts and those things. These organizations should all have part of their awareness and their curriculum, good relationship education. The next stage is when a couple decide that they are thinking about making their relationship permanent. This may be when they go to a church organization or to a religious organization to talk about a wedding, or where they are planning to establish a civil relationship. And at that stage, there should be materials available to emphasize responsibilities. Everybody talks in this generation and in the past few generations about rights, but I prefer to talk about responsibilities. A person in a relationship with another person, it doesn't matter for this purpose if it's the employer and the worker, or a husband and a wife, or a person with a partner, or relationship of a parent with a child. These relationships should be seen as being based on responsibilities. The responsibility to behave properly towards the other person, responsibility to accept the other person as he or she is, and the responsibility not to allow disputes to escalate, but to find proper ways to resolve those disputes. This is an essential part of a family relationship, that parents should see themselves as responsible to their children. In the area that we're talking about, this includes preventing the relationship between a child and a parent from breaking down on the basis of the understanding that each parent is responsible to see that there is a good and friendly relationship between each child and each parent and that parent's family, even if, unfortunately, the couple relationship breaks down. Putting it in a different way, the responsibility of a parent who is separating from the other parent is to make a clear distinction between the relationship, the couple relationship on the one hand, which may be breaking up, and the parent-child relationship, which under no circumstances should be allowed to fail. So that couples who are thinking about entering into a relationship, or newlywed couples, they should have available information and instruction as to how to avoid a breakdown of relationship between the parent and the child. Then there is the next stage, which is where a couple decide, or one of them decides, that they're going to separate and they're going to break up. Here, there is a huge responsibility on both parents to protect the children as far as possible from the harm that might result from the separation. A child who grows up with parents who are not in a good relationship, even if they're not fighting, that child is observing a couple relationship which is not the kind of couple relationship that we should be looking forward to. And a child whose parents split up, if the relationship between a parent and one of the children is not a good one, for any reason, but particularly if one parent is sabotaging the relationship between the child and the other parent, then that child is not able to observe and absorb a proper normative child-parent relationship. Both of these phenomena, the absence of a normative couple relationship and the absence of a normative child-parent relationship, will affect the child, will last into that child's adulthood, and will affect that child's ability as an adult to make normative couple relationships and normative child-parent relationships. So how do we achieve all these things? So together with organizations I'm working with, including the Parental Alienation Study Group, including an Israeli organization called In Between, and a worldwide organization called Two Wishes, we are developing programs to educate and instruct professionals who come into contact with children and their parents how to hand over these messages so that the school teacher and the school principal and the nurse in the clinic and the pediatrician or the family doctor and the social workers and the psychologists will be aware of the damage that can happen to a child if the parents separate, and particularly about the damage to a child if there is a breakdown of relationship between the child and a parent. They need to, all of the members of these professions, and also lawyers and judges, need to be aware that the stakes are very high if a child is going to lose a relationship unjustifiably with a parent who was previously loved. So that we are setting up training schemes. Last week, I gave a lecture to a group of people who are studying to be educational counselors in one of our school systems here. And I told them about what happens to a child. What are the signs that a child is suffering because the parental relationship is breaking down? What are the types of behaviors of a parent which can be observed in the school setting? And which may indicate a desire to or an intention to sabotage the relationship between the child and the other parent. So that is the thrust of our prevention work. It's to do with educating youngsters, educating couples, and giving instruction to professionals who are in the field. This also includes, of course, religious leaders, pastors, church leaders, rabbis, and qadis, and all those who are trusted as leaders, so that they will both lead their congregants and their adherents, but also will be able to observe the signs of problems and refer the parents to professional intervention and the child to therapy. And of course, these professionals need to know what's available in their communities. What are the agencies and who are the individuals who are able to help in these situations? So I hope that this talk has helped you to focus on the responsibilities each one of us has to make sure that in the community there are people who are knowledgeable, people who are interested, people who are aware of the problems that might arise, and there should also be the appropriate organizations and agencies who are able to help the child and the parents to get through the separation and divorce without causing damage. So that's it for now. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Colleen Murray, and I am the owner-operator of Victor's Crown Christian Counseling Center. Today, I wanted to talk to you about protecting the integrity of the alienated parent. I want to give you 3 words that provide a strategy to achieve purpose and peace: harmonize, mobilize, and defend. Alienated parents suffer the assassination of character integrity that few, if any but them, know the truth. Their faith in the system has left them nothing upon which to latch onto, and they fear that their children will never desire to see them because of the lies they've been taught. The first word is harmonize. Harmonize your life. The kind of chaos and strife you're being subjected to is unhealthy, and you need to counter it by finding harmony. And you get harmony when you seek support from others. Think about this. The worst possible punishment for prison inmates is to put them in solitary confinement. This isolation creates difficulty in processing even simple information, like keeping track of days, recalling events, and remembering small tasks. The psychology of isolation reveals that being alone causes physical and psychological stress. Oxford professor and theologian C.S. Lewis even imagined hell as a place of eternal distancing of people one from another. For example, we see today that most people recovering from addiction find it nearly impossible to get free on their own. They need others who have already successfully navigated these waters. They are encouragement to us, and they give us hope. So seeking the support of others is how they find harmony. Find your tribe. Surround yourself with fellow warriors. Get involved with a faith community or join a civic group and integrate. For when you seek harmony in the midst of pain, you bring comfort to others, and others bring comfort to you. So circle the wagons. Get people to protect you and surround you, and use the systems that fortify yourself. The second word is mobilize. This is where you commit to preserve. That is where you marshal internal and external resources and employ strategies to strengthen your position for the coming battle. You can't always change the circumstances you're facing, but you can control how you react to those circumstances. Controlled and measured responses are what enable you to shape the future you want. As a therapist, I want to protect not only your integrity, but also the integrity of your position. You must strategically mobilize your resources. Let me walk you through a few systems you can use to protect yourself and set up your loved one for the future success. Mental health counselor. Find one to help you. Lawyers in courts. Get smart on legal processes. State legislators. Bring this matter to their attention. Help them become advocates for you. A successful healing requires tenacity and understanding that you have to be stronger than you ever thought you could be. The third word is defend. Uphold and defend the honor of your position as mother, father, grandmother, grandfather. Establish and hold firm to the moral high ground of your place in this child's life. I want to protect your integrity. You can too. Stay true as you defend your position and don't get mentally caught up in the chaos. Here are what two of my clients said about this process. My integrity is being assaulted. Above all, don't judge me for the story that is happening to me. Professionals within our community bring tools and strategies to protect your integrity and to give you freedom to step out from under the judgment of others. These tools and strategies are real, and while every situation is different, these tools and strategies remain effective. And as hard as it may be, follow the classic adage, don't get bitter, become better. Hold on to and defend the honor of your role. There is purpose that can be born out of the pain. If you focus on yourself, you can't change others, but you can change yourself. In the words of Carl Jung, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. You are alienated, but there can be purpose born out of the pain. You knowing who you are and honorably defending yourself as mother or father or grandmother or grandfather is something no one can take away from you. You are here today, and while the battle may be raging and seem unwinnable, don't ever lose hope. Remind yourself that you are a survivor.
Join us next week on Families Divided when Dr. Colleen Murray interviews co-parents Jessica Dooley and Glenn Hawk on how to be co-parents that go from broken to mended. Dr. Murray will continue the conversation talking about parallel co-parenting.
Family Access, Fighting for Children's Rights, has two important email addresses you can use to reach us to request prayers for your family or to suggest a subject matter you would like to see covered on the Families Divided TV program. To request prayer for your family, please email us at prayersforfamilies@gmail.com. Is there a subject you would like covered on Families Divided? If so, then send your email to requestsforfamiliesdividedtv@gmail.com. We are here to help you in your journey.